Hello everyone and welcome to this unboxing video of our game High Frontier, designed by
Philip Eklund.
and I have done some co-design on it. My name is Manker and we have produced and printing this at Iron Game Design
Here in Stockholm.
here in Stockholm. We're in Stockholm now, and filming today is Jos. Yeah, so she's part of it anyways, and she's done illustrations for the cover of High Frontier. Most of the illustrations in the game are, actual illustrations, not schematics from patents and stuff. But,
Yes.
but the cover and a few things, Jos made them. So with no further, and we got these games from Longpack, sent with a courier. They arrived like 23 minutes ago. We are going to do this immediately because, as Phil states it, the whole China is held up until we say go, which means the production of High Frontier is held up. But anyways, that's why we're gonna do it now.
Oh, I'm so excited.
We're gonna unbox these two. We got this one, which is probably the Neoprene mat. Let's wait with that for a while.
What? Wait.
And we got this nice box with probably the other things. And so anyway, we'll pray it open immediately because Phil wants to.
Yes,
And now we're gonna just react briefly to it. Then we're going to check the components more thoroughly, including Paul and Josephine and Jos and all people involved will check them very briefly, and then look at everything and see that it's okay, and then we give the green light to proceed. They are producing things already in China. The components have already been produced. They have printed many of the rule books and such, but this is just a last safety check while production is going on to see that everything is okay. We have already double checked it 4 times in various points. Anyways, so Phil is here totally destroying the first parcel, hopefully not the contents. And you are skipping ahead, of course, and immediately going to module 2.
Module 2, yes. Well, this is one of Use's artwork here.
Yes. And maybe we should open the other ones before, so we can open the actual boxes in order. So to speak. Here is, there is this is the upgrade kit actually.
Yeah.
And here we have, so this is a bit interesting. You can see inside here that they are shipping them with extra cautionary. These are, I agree, these are going to come with every game to make sure it's not damaged in any way.
Yeah, those are nice.
Yeah, that's nice. So, this one as well. And there we have the core box. There are the two
modules.
And just to show how we thought about this is that, so you can have it in your shelf like this, and this one could go beside if you want to have many of them, and there are drawers here, you can draw them out, you can have more modules as they go along, or they are made to fit perfectly if you put them like this. So they go, you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and so on. So it's a nice,
it's geometrical.
Yeah.
And there's two modules here, but we should mention that a third one's been submitted to
China, yes,
to Longpack as well, module
Longpack.
3,
which is being produced soon.
Yes, we don't have that one
The
yet.
advanced copy is mildly mounted. So, and then we have this kit, which is only going to be available through Kickstarter, I think. So it's only for the
upgrade
who want to upgrade from 3rd edition to 4th edition. And you get, in this case, you need to use some of the components from 3rd edition, such as the map and so on, but you get the new stuff. I think think, all cards in upgraded format.
Yeah, I believe so.
And it comes in a nice little, almost like an old vinyl LP thing, same size as this. But let's start with, or maybe we should, no, we take that next. So we start with a core box, I think.
Okay, core box.
Core box it is. This is a big moment. We have been working on this game for over 1.5 years, and you have been working on it, including Rocket Flight, for
30 some years.
30 some years. And of course, you've seen other, but every time, this is the 4th time you see an actual copy for the first time. So, you want to have the honors?
Oh, so, yes, the cover on this has elements from Ron Miller of Black Cat Studios, but I believe our own Josephine has added elements to it as well.
And finalize it.
And finalize it, yes. And
the box looks nice.
Oh.
We are actually the second in the world to get this. The first one, it was faster delivered to Facing Players, who yesterday made a nice unboxing of this one, pointing out that Phil's name is now spelled correctly on the box.
This was sort of a big selling point for me.
Yeah, that's actually the reason you made the game 4th edition at all, right?
Yes. To get, I knew the Swedes would spell Eklund correctly. This is the idea. This is another view of the cover.
Yeah.
And
yeah, we have the extra bags,
extra Ziplocs.
extra Ziplocs. We have the rockets. You need rockets to go to space.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And we
I'm gonna
have
play with some of these rockets.
yeah, and we have other components. Rockets are in player color. So here are rockets, and then we have different plastic discs, which are to represent claims and also failed claims, the red ones.
Yeah, the busted
discs. And
And we have also the water tanks, or aquas as we call them in this edition. Somewhat more organic, I guess, than in previous editions.
yeah.
These beads, very easy to handle. I like them anyway. They're translucent. And
like
they
them as
certainly look like drops of water.
Yeah, I really like the way they come across when light hits them. So
Sure,
it's
sure.
really
40-ton drops of water.
40 ton drops,
perhaps.
and they're made a little higher, so they're very easy to pick up, even if you're on a hard surface. That's this one. And then we have the cards.
I'm gonna start looking at these cards because if anything could stop production, it would be something like this.
Yeah.
This is several decks. This one includes the Race for Glory. It looks like
And this one includes the space diamonds.
Space Diamonds. So these are introductory
Yeah.
scenarios that are provided. So
Well, the first introductory scenario is Space Diamonds, and here are Space Diamonds rockets. And then we have Space Diamond mission cards. And you can also use these mission cards in a variant made by... I designed the Space Diamond thing, and then Pavel Garicki helped me design a scenario where you use the mission cards from the Space Diamonds in a normal game of High Frontier. Which I think could be very cool. I really want to try it myself more than we've done during playtesting. Now when we have a complete game. So that's that one, and it looks like that. It also has the way it's new for this game to have a system to pinpoint places on the map. Using
a coordinate system.
Using the
Kan du vända på den? Vänd på den.
Vänd på den där, ja. Okej, sorry.
And I've gotten out the Race for Glory, an introductory scenario. It has simplified versions of the basic cards. Again, for those who want a little bit less clutter in playing a game, or if they're learning, or and they have a little insignia on the upper right corner. It says "Race for Glory" just to distinguish them from the normal deck. We've also got overlays here. This is an overlay for alternate Earth and a wet habitable Venus. You can set these on the map to try.
Basically, if you play the full campaign thing from BIOS Origins.
That's right.
Over there in the background, but.
Because BIOS series allows for life to get started on Mars or Venus. These are the faction cards here. They're two-sided. And so we've got...
and they are color matching the components
yeah,
here,
the
which
rockets.
is working pretty well. This one is not 1000%. But
What about the green? We
the
were worried
green.
about the green.
Yeah, but it's not. I wouldn't worry. It's still good enough.
Yeah.
But the other ones are excellent. And that one is good to there. Yeah, anyways, it's good. And there are 6 different. There are 6 different crew cards. And if you want to play with 6 players using all 6, there is a 6-player upgrade kit from the lab.
Right.
So that's being produced later on this autumn.
There's 6 cards, but there's 12 factions because each one's double-sided.
Yes, and all of that's new. They're all unique. They're
All
unique
unique.
abilities and unique, rockets.
They were held playtest too. And we've got some of the very basic. These are advanced cards, but they are the basic types. These are the thrusters, and there's a few extras, new ones. I could probably find one of the new ones, for instance, that maybe those who are familiar with High Frontier might be interested in. Like the monatomic plug nozzle is a new thruster, and so is, I think, this pulsed inductive.
And I think in each category of cards, which you have, thruster is one category, and then robonauts is another.
Yeah, here's the robonauts.
And then refineries. So that's basically going somewhere with a thruster, finding something with the robonaut, and then building a factory over it with the refineries over here. So those 3 are the core, functionalities of the robot.
The core functionalities.
And in each of these, there's 1, 2, or maybe 3 new ones, I think.
Yes, so there's at least a dozen per category. They all have a space-built side, which is advanced, and the as boosted from Earth side.
Yeah, so the white side if you boost from Earth, black side if you produce it in space. And the cards are sometimes quite different, actually.
Somewhat,
and if you want to
somewhat
compare,
different from the third
so these
edition.
these 3 core pieces of something is in the simplified Race for Glory, and here you can see the difference of the cards. These are the identical cards, but for the normal game and for the Race for Glory simplified version. So it's a little more going on here. Here it's more simplified.
Especially the supports required.
And then there is no supports in these ones, but in this one you need supports, which are shown there. And then supports are the 3 cards we have here. Since they're not used in this Race for Glory, we don't have them in this simplified variant that has the yellow mark up there.
Do you want to explain a little bit about the layout choices on these cards? We've got everything.
Yeah, so the idea is to have
show them
all
splay.
information on this side here. So you can splay it and still see everything on this bottom card that is of importance. And this is only fluff and image. And here we have the mass and basic things, and then you have the supports. And up here you have abilities or things that this brings. So for example, if we have a support here, which would be this one, we see this one needs something X, and up here we have the thing that it supports in the top, so we can see that, right, we have it needs some X, and we have an X here. Up here it's a Robonaut, so what it brings is also up there. Down here we see things like this one can be longer because there might be more information, and there's a special ability sometimes to it that might drag down. And down there is a letter showing where on the map you can produce it, and this is to produce it and make it space produced. And there you can see that C is the same as here, so you need to go to a C site and build a factory there, and then there you can build this particular card. And there are other special abilities, and down here is a thruster triangle showing consumption, how much thrust, and some special information. Anyway, so everything is put into here, and it looks, at first glance, it looks fairly similar to the earlier versions of the game, but I can't count how many 100 hours has gone into testing this down to the 10th of a millimeter of making all. I mean, these 6 different kinds of cards plus the 4 more different kinds here, so 10 different kinds of cards, all permutations and alternatives, and try to fit it. So
there are some front to back differences. Just aesthetically, I should mention, because I worked on this myself, is the illustrations are colorized to help try to bring out their essential features.
Yeah,
so,
that's another new thing as well. And then all the colors are changed so that it's all colorblind friendly.
So let's look at the rules.
Yeah, so we have obviously, well, let's take it in order.
Sure.
Maybe it should, if we take it in order, it should start with this. Read me first.
Read me first. Well, maybe that's first.
So read me first rule book, short thing telling you how to approach the game if you're new to it or not, and some initial information, and then also information on what's changed. Here's all the changes on the map and some other things.
Changed from the 3rd edition.
From the 3rd edition, yes. And then we have the Space Diamond, which is a game in itself, which basically teaches you how to understand the map. And
let's see this.
Then we have Race for Glory, which is another game where you use only a subset of the cards, these yellow ones. And you have a number of scenarios which can teach you the game or makes it easier to play the game, such as there is a cooperative scenario, and it's easier to play a game together than when you're alone trying to find things out. And increasing difficulty. And then there is a lengthy tutorial where one complete game is scripted.
Yes, we went through the whole thing. And
where you can see and just follow through if you want this scripted game. And then we have the core rules, which are, I mean, the whole gist of it, all different rules that apply when you play the standard.
Core rules means that these are the essential rules that will be referred to by all the modules, and it includes, for instance, support cards, and also the political module is actually included in core rules too. So this is sort of the basis for any sort of future playing is in the core rules.
The idea of making core, we added the politics module in here as a module 0. We call it module 0. I don't even know where it's.
It's section O, actually, I think.
Oh, that's fitting.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So it's called module 0, but it's 0 because it's not a module you can buy anyway. It's just automatically part of it. But you don't have to play with these rules. So it's a module in that sense. The core game ends here, and then if you want, you can play with module 0 rules. And then there is a glossary at the end. And again, the illustrations here are also made by Jus, who is now filming us. And then finally, the 5th book is the appendix, which holds a number of alternative variants to the game. Here you find, for example, how to play the game with the Space Diamonds mission cards using the standard game, not just Space Diamonds. The fairly popular CEO what's the name?
CEO variant.
CEO variant. We have some things where you can play with beings made by liquid diamond. You know,
There
there's
are-
a few things in there.
The liquid diamonds from the planet Uranus, what if they came out carbon-based life that was on par with the technology developing on Earth? What would happen with the meetings of these?
Diamonds are not carbon, so.
Diamonds are carbon.
And then there's an essay here by you, and then every card has a extensive fluff text explaining the card and its background.
Yes, because every card has some sort of technological father and basis, and at some point was being developed by a space agency somewhere.
Yeah. In addition, we have player boards. So each player gets a player board, which looks like this. We haven't really commented on the quality yet today. I would say that's a good thing, because I felt the card was very sturdy.
Well, it's pretty sturdy cards. Yeah, this is pretty heavy stuff.
Expected so, but because we chose this, but it's also nice to feel the final thing.
Yeah, sure.
And you never really know when you see the earlier production side, but this is even better. I mean, the feeling on the surface is exceptionally good on this one.
Yeah.
These ones has a very good print, very deep black here. I really like how it's coming through. And here are the player boards. To bring weight down, actually,
Skulle vi kunna rensa upp lite bara?
Yeah.
Nu blir det lager på lager.
All right, so she told us in Swedish to clean up a little bit here.
Okay, well,
So we just put the cards.
comply.
We comply. So here are the cards.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
So you know where to look.
Exactly. Good point. Those.
You know, I'm much better at making messes.
I know. Here's. Let's put this to the side.
Look, you can clean.
Yeah.
Hey, Josephine. I resemble that remark.
Okay, let's edit this out.
We can keep this out, actually.
Yeah.
Various player things.
Okay.
Because we didn't show. We can do that before we do anything else. We didn't show the factories. So there are cubes. They look as expected. And there are also domes. Which
Yeah, colony domes. This shows that your factory is colonized, or perhaps your Bernal is colonized. In any case, there are humans actually living there.
For some reason, they boxed the red ones in a separate little bag, but I don't know what. Maybe it was made on a different plan.
Maybe. I hope they have the right numbers.
It's the right numbers as far as I can see. Each of those. But the red ones are. Yeah. Anyways, they're there. That's the main thing. Here are the cubes. You can bring out green colonies or colony. You can build colonies in the base game, and then there is a for the attentive to there's something called colonization. Then this one gets even more important.
Okay, what else is in the box?
Well, what else is in the box? We
This
have
box is bottomless.
yeah. So we have the solar board, which is tells you about the events going on. A simplified version for the race.
Yeah, this is for Race for Glory. This is a Sunspot cycle. And this is for the core game and beyond.
And on this you also use this wooden golden star to show... No, you don't, sorry. What you do is on this one. This is the political assembly. And on the political assembly you have a simplified version, or actually this is not used in Race for Glory, so instead there's an extra player aid here, specifically for Race for Glory. But this side, if you use module 0, you have a star showing what's the current dominant law or ideology on Earth.
Who's in charge?
Who's in charge?
right wing, left wing, centrist, who
Freedom.
knows?
Yeah. And then we have, so this was the card for, we have
Yeah,
the little
overlay.
red little die as well.
Yeah, now these are
Good size.
sort of classic in their colors,
Yeah.
silver pips, but it features the dreaded one, which is so often the harbinger of disaster when you've decided to attempt a mission without the blessing of the programmers.
Yeah, and then if you roll a 1, you blow up. But the 1 is actually red for blood and death, but it can also be red for love, because if you roll to find something, then you're very happy to get the 1.
Yeah, that's true. Prospecting, you
it's
want to roll low.
Number 1 is the special number to roll in this game.
Special number.
And then we have player aids, 2 of them, and they are 6 pages, double-sided fold-ups, identical, so you can have one on each side of the table. And these actually include a player aid for the core game, as well as Module 1 and Module 2, because we produce them at the same time.
Yeah, they have their own page. Module 1 and 2 are on the last page. Okay.
And we didn't even comment on the player boards, but the player boards, there are 5 of them, and they are in 400 GSM, so the hardest card stock without becoming cardboard they normally use. A very good surface, and it's for weight issues we keep them like that. If we made this in cardboard, then you add a couple of 100 grams, and it's going to be more expensive for everyone who buys the game to ship it. So, and it really works. We played it in different variants.
A lot of thought went into doing the rocket diagram here, the fuel strip as it is. We've tried to make it user-friendly, and we concentrated on this as for illustrations in the rules to show how this works, because mastering this diagram will be very central. Of course, it uses the rocket equation, the logarithmic rocket equation for its values, and it's been kind of evolving over the various iterations of High Frontier, and now it's probably a patentable
well, piece of information design.
Yes.
Yeah, it holds a lot of information behind it, this game.
There's more in this box?
There is more in this box. We have the punch-out board.
Okay.
Which is, these things are for space diamonds, and here is for the core game. So you have the glory sheets and wet mass, dry mass, which you use on this one, the board. Move it. That's dry, meaning that's how heavy your rocket is.
And they're double-sided.
So, and these ones are wet black on that one, which is if you have a dirt thruster, and wet blue if you have a water-based rocket. And then that's how heavy your rocket is, and this is how heavy it is, including all your fuel. And this moves down, and then it becomes a fuel meter, and it can never go beyond the
dry. I should mention, just because wet and dry mass is something aerospace engineers grow up with, but it's a little bit unfortunate that wet mass makes it seem like you're using water fuel, which is not necessarily the case. You can have any sort of propellant, it might be wet mass. But we use, these things are color-coded in the game. If they are gray, that means you're using dirt propellant. If they're blue, you're using water propellant.
Yeah, so it's the propellant, not the fuel. Fuel
well, it could be the fuel too. It's because there's all sorts of different rockets in the game.
Yeah,
but,
sure.
Propellant is the reaction mass. It's just the mass that's important. Fuel, the energy is important.
Yeah.
So what are these things you're punching out?
So here are glory sheets, which you have on the map. We're going to show it a little bit later, but these are sheets that you get for discovery value. Further out in the solar system, they are worth more. These are medals, so they're awarded by vote, I think.
They're awarded by vote. Some players like them, some players hate them. If
They're
you're,
worth 2 points.
but especially there are players who say if a disaster happens, they get a little bit of compensation. These things can be used various ways now, expanded ways over the 3rd edition, and even when we get into Module 3. So there's still more.
Yeah, there's the map.
The map. Oh God!
Did you forget the map?
I forgot the map.
You have worked 7,983 hours on this map in total, and you forgot it?
Oh, just open it, okay?
All right. So these ones are going to be shown on the map. So I think we're going to put the map over at your place there. Move this here. And this one we can just scoot over somewhere. Here. So here is the map.
A little bit
Intimidated by its size. No.
No, I wanted to see how well we could see the boundaries and between the heliocentric zones and between here and here is the toughest one.
Yeah. Maybe here's clear. I think that's clear.
Okay.
This is pretty clear.
All
Here
right.
it's obviously clear, but yeah, maybe you're right. That's maybe the least
The
clear.
inside one was also a concern. It's hard to tell because of the nature of the dyes and inks when you're looking on the screen.
Clear here.
Yeah, like that is definitely within the zone.
Yeah.
Hello, Paul. Hey, there's our production manager. He's anxious to see this too.
Yeah. So here you place
Or
this
afraid.
one over here. Or afraid. And here you place the solar. And you have the coordinate system that's used. You can see here is a symbol for Mars. You find it there. And there it says 3:30. And then you can look at the solar clock. And you look at 3:30. So it's there. And then in the zone Mars. So it should be, this deals with something down here. And it's
What is it? Eureka.
Eureka.
Ah, there it
That's
is.
Eureka.
Okay, Eureka.
so in this kite, for someone who never seen it, it's usually daunting. And but with that way of coordinating system of it, you can find anything. You can say where is Comet Halley, for example, and you can easily say it's in that symbol. So
This heliocentric zone, Uranus' zone. At this clock pace, you should be
So
able to
it's
get
Uranus 10, and then
a
you
small
find-
area on the map.
Yeah. So anyways,
But the map seems to be
here's
pretty well made.
yeah, I think so, really. And here is another addition. These are outpost markers. That's an upgrade from previous version.
Yeah.
So if you have outpost 1, you take this marker here and place it where you have outpost 1, let's say on Mars. Or it could be out in space. You can have it just hanging there, outpost 2. And then you keep cards here to show what's actually there.
I'd like to mention that I chose cardboard for the outpost because the plastic and wooden pieces on the map are counting VPs, but the cardboard ones aren't.
Yeah,
so
that's
it
a good
makes
point.
it easier to count score at
Yeah.
the end.
And just to mention it, here are the space diamonds. I put some of them, most of these are for space diamonds, as I said, but these are discovery tokens. And when you put them out on the other side, you put them, you don't know what they look like, you don't know what's there until you go there and pick it up. And here's a C, for example, should be there. And there's an H you can find over there, and a D. So you match this. The
Yeah, I
number
see.
on
This
there.
gives an element of discovery.
And
to
that
the game.
very much an element of discovery. And and then when you go there, you find it, and then you get to flip it, and you find something which could be points or even useful for some actions.
Right. So,
And what else do we have? Well, here are the discovery sheets, which are part of the core game, actually, even though they're used in
these are actually called glories,
Glories, yeah,
glory
sorry.
chits. This one's here in Neptune, and if you were the first one to land in the Neptune zone with humans, and you're allowed to pick this up, and if you carry it back to Earth, they throw a ticker tape parade for you, and you can flip it onto its other side, which gives you increased VP.
Yes, and I think it's time to open.
Yes, it is. We're probably way over time here, but
it's so now serious. But again, so far I haven't seen one thing I want to change. Actually, I think it's all quality-wise, print quality-wise.
Yeah.
And these were super easy to punch out. Nothing, no trace of them being
They
punched.
spell my name right here?
Yes, that's your own logo, so I hope so. When you say they, in this case, you mean you.
Well, yes.
And yeah, so it's easy to punch, and none of them were punched while transporting. So that's quality.
So this is module 1, terawatt and futures. Terawatt refers to very, very high-powered elements, but there's also freighters in this module as well. And futures means if you're playing a game, an extended game with extended, really fun goals, like what if we turn a giant planet into a rocket by using its atmosphere and slowly exit it out of the solar system and take it with all its moons to another star system.
I remember you doing that with one of these. I think with
the Centaurs are.
I think you did it with one of the Centaurs when we playtested early version of it.
Yeah.
And you were talking about that for weeks.
Yes. That only works with a dirt rocket because this only has dirt, but a gas giant or a giant planet has really nice isotope fuels for its atmosphere, so that's kind of convenient. I'm going to break open the cards.
I'll show one of the cubes for now. So these are cubes which are much bigger than the normal factory cubes, and they're also clearly bigger than the earlier games. So these are fighter cubes, which also are important because they are cubed because they affect all your factories really. So if you get a big cube, all your small cubes are enhanced in functionality, and that's portrayed by.
Actually, when you promote your freighter, here's a freighter card.
Oh yeah.
When you promote your freighter to its purple side, then all your factories become mobile.
Yeah.
And so here are the freighters. I'll just put them where we've got the other cards. And I'll ask you play test. Freighters have been significant. In this version too, they're able to build space elevators. Freighters are useful or necessary really to build space elevators, which is really a new feature of this game. You've got the space elevators here, and I will take a few out. The map's been changed to add the places in the solar system where space elevators would be useful or possible. There's an example.
Or most likely, maybe.
Or most likely. If there's a convenient moon to use as a counterweight, or at least source of mass for a counterweight, this is very helpful. Here is the planet Neptune, for instance. This little symbol, this little elevator symbol, signifies that you could have a space elevator to the moon Despina. So basically, the way this would work is you would, using material on Despina, you're manufacturing some kind of nano cable which you lower down into the atmosphere of Neptune so that you can get those rare isotopes such as helium-3 and bring it up to a moon which could be used to be exported to energy-hungry places on the map such as Earth, maybe. So there's a lot of them. Pluto has a couple of elevator sites, as does Haumea, and
closer to Earth, we have one actually directly from Earth up to
That's right.
one of the places
There's
where
one
you
on
can-
Mars to
There's
going
one
to
on
the
the
moon
moon.
Phobos.
Yeah, here's one.
I should also mention these high power rockets. These are called gigawatt rockets, and they can be upgraded into terawatt rockets, which are Starship class, trillion watts of power. And this happens to be a saltwater Zubrin. I've worked with Professor Zubrin on this game, actually, but these new components for Module 1 are golden fuel beads. These are isotopes. Because the very high-powered rockets have to have isotope fusion fuel. And what they expel is mainly fusion products rather than water or the like. So this is a case when fuel is very appropriate term for the rockets you're using, because fuel in this case acts both as the energy source and the mass source for your rocket drive. Okay.
In this, there is also a bunch of empty ziplocs, which we always add in stuff.
Sure.
And you have player boards.
Player boards.
In both this one and in Module 2 and Module 3, which is coming up, by the way.
Yes.
And these
I think
player
you can order
boards
it now.
are made so that the background of them fits together. So if you play with this one, you put it there, and the background just continues. And as you're gonna see from this session, the next one also fits background-wise here, so it gets bigger and bigger.
If you've got a freighter, we put a freighter card right here, a place for its stack, and anything the freighter is carrying will also go in this stack.
And while you don't have one, you can keep your cube there waiting for the freighter to be built.
Are we worried that we're mixing up components now between?
No.
No. Okay.
But maybe we should.
I hope Paul forgives us for doing
So
this.
We can put that. And then there's these stars for future. If you manage to make a future, you get the stars.
Yes, yes. The futures are really awesome accomplishments. Even if you lose a game, if you complete one of the challenging futures, you can brag about it to your grandkids. Really. How does the rules look?
And the rule looks like this. They are half size of normal rule book because it's a smaller box. And at the end there's an appendix with all the cards, and then the rules inside. So
including the futures.
There's a substantial amount of rules here as well. Futures, freighters, and
I think there's also some special scenarios here. There's another solitaire scenario.
Yeah, there are a few scenarios in that one as well. That's true.
I think
there are 3 or 4 total solo scenarios.
I think there are 4.
Like 2 or 3 cooperative.
Some of them designed only for solo use.
Yeah.
This is the futures section. There may be some strategy in here too, just for futures. Futures planning, about futures, yeah. Okay.
Anyways.
Ni är på 44 minuter.
Oh. So in the final one.
Oof. Good. Do you want to, we're going to have time to open the upgrade kit, by the way?
Yeah, you open it quick and put it.
Okay, I really love Use's, Josephine's concept of the cover here. This is, I had, me and Malik Matterbeam, I'm sorry, worked on what a submarine base on Ariel, a moon of Uranus, which is in the background, what aspects it would have. And so we worked with Josephine on getting this illustrated, and I think it's a spectacular thing.
Yeah, and it's also, I really like the cover too, which is from the same place, so to speak, but that's when here are the guys riding some kind of vehicle, probably back to their base from having been somewhere, either visiting another base or just out doing missions. But,
Or
I
carrying
like
back
the-
stuff for the factories is
could be.
possible
I like
too.
the light in this illustration.
Yeah,
So
thank
we've
you.
got more player boards here.
Yes, and the player boards are, if you use this as well, then the background continues, so it looks consistent. And here you put your the cards in this one is about colonists
For the
and
Bernals.
Bernal. So the colonists you just use in your normal stacks, but the Bernals you put here, a card for the Bernal. And the Bernals are in a nice little inlay.
Wow, look at this. Man, look at this
There you go.
one. Now, can I get it out without
Admit that you
spilling
kind
it?
of want to start painting this immediately.
I sure do, yeah. Maybe, there.
So, and there's one little extra space elevator here because of a rule in this game.
Yes, the
But
terrestrial
it's
cell.
just identical
only
to
for
the
the-
others, so it could be.
It's for the terrestrial one.
And we have so these are the very nice looking, I would say, Bernal models, which has a place to place the little colony on.
Yeah.
Well, no, it slipped off just because of that, but it stays there, and you can even shift it a bit, and it stays. And this one stays even better because it's held.
Because it's got claws.
Yeah. And then you can move these around, but you usually, not very often you move them. But anyways, this marks that people are living here, and this is people not living.
Now I've impatiently broken open the cards.
Yeah.
And we've got Bernal cards. There's more. There's 12 of them all. We've got a great assortment of all the possible designs and some special rules for Bernals. They have different functions in space depending on whether or not they're collecting energy or beaming energy or their communication center or their elevators, space elevators. They're for various things, making antimatter. There's a cancer treatment hospital, pharmaceuticals, and so they have their economic place. And just jumping ahead to Module 3, which we don't have here, conflict, these things get emergency repurposed into various sorts of offensive and defensive capacities in the case of war. So, and these are the colonists. And we've got some robots, and I'll put these off to the side. Maybe you can talk about them?
Yeah, well, robots is a special kind because, as you can see, they are black, which means they are produced in space. And all black cards, we have some of the fighters were also black, so you produce them in space. But when you, instead of the other cards are white and then produced in space being black, these are black from the start becoming purple because then
they're promoted,
Promoted.
to a very advanced state.
So
Promoted side also will always have a future of some sort.
Yeah, and the futures are these challenging extra things. So each of the card actually defines the futures that you need to promote the card and then do the future on it. And these ones also have some of the futures actually emancipates the robots, making them counted as humans.
Yes, that.
But otherwise, they're not human, so you can.
And it
use
promotes
them as-
the robots everywhere, so they
Yeah.
suddenly get robot rights.
Yeah.
The promotion, we've got a little dome symbol on the cards, which indicates how they're and where you can promote them.
Yeah.
They've also got a little voting block. This is only when they're first played, so it's not part of the displayable information. But when this is in conjunction with Module 0, how they vote in politics and how they affect the active law. And
Yeah. So I mean, still these ones also feel very good for being still just card stock. These ones are the same quality of them all. It's very sturdy. I like it. I like everything I see here actually, and this one is also very nice fit. And
Yeah, these Bernals
very good
are
looking
really.
compared to what you had before.
Oh yeah, these Bernals are so awesome.
And also based on, this is the Kalpana version of a Bernal, and this is a stand for Taurus. These are the two.
Yeah,
most
this
common.
is more the classic, like 2001, and this is more the more modern, low mass, high spin approach to space colonies.
Yeah.
It's trying to get the purpose is trying to get their construction within a reasonable scale for early deployment.
And I can also say I personally tested these ones, throwing them some, I think 20 meters down into concrete, and they hold. So they're not fragile, even though they look a little fragile. They are holding on. Yeah. So that would be the time when if it broke now, it would be embarrassing, but it didn't.
Yeah. And those little radiators that they stand on, it may seem like it's supposed to be a stand. No, that's really part of the space station.
Yeah, so this is actually, this is how it would look. A little not exactly like this, but it's we made the stand so it's logically a part of the actual thing.
And part of the heat rejection or heat management system.
Heat management. This one where you put the little dome, that's also that's a mirror in the original design, so it's also there. It's just we reduced it as a place to put the dome.
Yes, a mirror is required to keep the crops. These places are growing crops, and they'll need sunlight and the like.
And
do we have time for the upgrade kit, by the way?
Yeah, and we should also show the map. But this one, I just want to say, these are a little bigger than before, and we designed it so it's bent inward, so it's easier to pick up on hard surfaces. You don't see almost the difference, but it's 10 times easier to pick up. So that's a nice little detail.
Oh, that's right. The flat bottom ones, we had complaints on that. I remember this.
Yeah. And then we have. So I'll open the upgrade kit real fast, just to show what's in there. And you can open the map at the same time.
Yes,
and the map, that is a add-on that's going to be available all the time. So we have modules, which are added game content, and we have add-ons, which are more, if you want them. If you want a bigger map, you have this add-on. If you want to be able to play 6 players, there's a 6-player add-on in the next wave. And the upgrade kit, though, that's just now this first printing, because that's just for the people who have the old game and want to complement some special things that's not part of Python Tier 3. In it you have the rule books, and you have you don't have the cards and you don't have the map, but you have the player boards, player aids, the punch-out board, and some red discs, and a nice little box. And then we have the Neoprene map.
Yes.
What I really like about this is how well, I mean, the punch of the colors, I can see immediately when you're picking it up. That's my first impression. It's very intense, actually.
Yeah, it's kind of intense.
Yeah, maybe it's better if you stand up.
Yes, I can stand up and then I can put it down on this table.
Wow.
This is the size of it. So it's slightly bigger than the big map of High Frontier 3, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's so it's neoprene, so it's a little soft, you know, mouse pad material kind of. And the edges are torn, so it won't rip anyway, and it's good. So here's the one, and there's some of the texts are slightly gray because of the print, but we tried different methods, and this was the best they could do.
Yes,
and it's all readable, so.
Yes, I took some measures on this to increase contrast as well.
Yeah.
But you can see very fine detail, and I can read
I think the colors match pretty much exactly. It's
I'm
very-
looking. I'm
very,
looking
very
at the
good.
names of some of these sites.
It looks
That's a
slightly
little-
more saturated.
This is even
Oh,
more
yeah.
saturated, but and these are a little. I don't know. Is it? It's very close, but it's no. It's actually very close. The orange there
Yeah, the oranges.
and the yellow. Yeah. So they done a good job with this one. I would say.
Yeah, so this thing goes anywhere. You can roll it up, take it to any sort of
Yeah.
convention, if they still hold such things anymore.
We'll see
We'll see.
eventually.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for watching, and we are very happy with this.
What are you the most satisfied with?
I'm happy to see that the map is legible and but I guess the most cutest things, the most exciting things were those Bernals. I was a little nervous that the injection molding would be able to handle that.
Yeah,
they're
we
incredibly
didn't
complicated.
super check
Spokes.
Yeah, this I mean
Really?
there's nothing in error on the one I'm looking at, and there is quite a lot of detail. Even if you look on the surface of the thing, the 3D artist put a lot of details there, and I think they are showing. I kind of like, I don't know, it's just so rewarding to see all the thoughts we've done into this, especially on how the cars work together, and the map. Well, to see it all together. I don't know if I should pick one. I actually don't know which one to pick, but maybe the cards somehow. I don't know.
Should we mention when this thing is supposed to be shipping?
Yes, but I'm
Assuming we give them the go-ahead.
Yeah, if we give them the go-ahead, we should, but I don't know the exact date, but I guess
I think it's September 25th is what I've...
September 25th, okay.
Is what I've heard. Now this is completion at China, and you know, we're still talking 6 weeks on a slow boat to the fulfillment center.
So let's say 25th, September 25th is the date. Then 6 weeks from there, it's gonna go to some kind of distribution center, and there's always a week or two for them to pick it up and put it in and start sending. And then when they send it, it's between a day and 2 weeks, depending on how far away you live from distribution center.
So I bet we're talking like November or December to arrive in your mailbox or something.
Yeah. So they have produced most of these components. They are producing some. I think they're producing these ones. The mold broke, so they had to remake it.
Oh, really? That doesn't sound good.
Yeah, well, not good for them. It's a little. It also made the production a bit slower. Also, the production is slower because of COVID-19 and all these. So there's been many challenges in that department as well. But it's here, it's coming, and I think it's satisfactory.
Well, thanks a lot.
Thanks
and,
for another excellent cooperation.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching.